Not the common kind among kids at the dentist's or on the day of the quiz, but the type she'd witnessed 100 times over, from animals being led into surgery or about to be put down. A look saying they knew what was coming. Could it be Jack sensed something wrong with the flight? "Mom," he said in a hush. It was the way he often spoke these days, but this time the plea in the word leapt out and cinched Audra's chest. "Ma'am," the attendant repeated. "We have to close the doors." If Audra missed this flight, there would be no final job interview. She was currently the top pick according to her contact, who encouraged her to bring Jack along. A smart idea. The transition would be easier if he was involved in the process. Together they'd scout out houses with plenty of acreage and top-rated schools near the brand-new animal hospital. At the facility just outside Philadelphia, everything would be shiny and flawless and unused, an empty slate. She assessed the plane, a strong and trusted transport. Flying ranked safer than driving, according to statistics. This had become her method of reasoning, the tangible, the provable, X-rays and blood tests. Any faith in the spiritual realm, airplane premonitions included, had been buried along with Devon. "Jack, let's go," she told him. "Now." The command prodded him forward, though only increased the pursing of his lips. She clasped his hand to hurry him onto the jet bridge. The gate door sealed, dimming the snaking tunnel. Jack tightened his hold, so snug she could feel waves of apprehension pulsing through his body. Instinct implored her to pick him up, yet her own lecture slammed back. Let them walk on their own. It was the instruction she gave any clients whose coddling, albeit well-intentioned, stunted the confidence of their Chihuahuas, Yorkies, any number of small breeds. Treat them like big dogs and they'll believe they are. Whenever applied, the lesson proved reliable, swelling Audra with pride. A stark contrast to this moment. If Devon were here, what would he say? What magical phrase would rid the stiffness from Jack's steps? There was a huge difference between nurturing animals and children. It was her husband who excelled at the latter. Audra rubbed the crown of Jack's head, the airplane now in sight. His hair smelled of green apple, from a shampoo that claimed to prevent tears. "Nothing to worry about, buddy. I told you this is going to be fun." "Good morning," a uniformed woman said from the plane's entryway. An ash-blonde updo topped her petite form. Audra was about to return the greeting when something yanked her arm. Jack had concreted himself a few inches from the door. His eyes went wide, not blinking. The flight attendant leaned down to his level. "Is this your first plane ride, cutie?" Jack didn't answer. Audra explained. He flew a few times when he was a baby, but this is the first time he'd be old enough to remember. "Well, in that case," she told Jack, "I'll have to make this flight extra special. How about you take your seat and I'll see if I can scrounge up some pilot wings? What do you say?" Jack perked ever so slightly. After a moment, he gave a nod and inched onto the plane. The red lights on his sneakers flashed like a warning. "Thank you," Audra mouthed. She followed Jack shuffling into first class, through wafts of a Bloody Mary and champagne from mimosas. Business travelers flanked them in suits and polished shoes and perfect layers of makeup. Audra, with her cushioned sandals and faded khakis, winced from the heat of her neon sign, Coach Class Passenger. She tucked away stragglers of her bound black hair, a looped ponytail parading as a bun. For a moment she had the urge to overhaul her trademark look, but as she continued down the aisle, a smattering of baseball caps and windbreakers reinforced her practical nature. Their assigned row waited empty near the rear. It was the usual quarantine section for those with children, of which today there were few. She encouraged Jack to take the window, a coveted seat for any kid. He craned his neck to peer under the half-raised shade. Seeing where they were going would alleviate his worry. But Jack shook his head.